Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for the introduction. I didn't bring my own slide, that wasn't really smart, so I'm trying not to turn too much so that you don't hear me anymore. Oh, wow, that's service. Thank you. I was told that the majority of people in the room are probably from a research background, so I quickly want to say who we are. So we're Communications Alliance. We are the primary industry association for telecommunications in Australia. We were originally formed in 1997 as what's called ACCCCE, the Australian Communications Industry Forum. In 1997, that's roughly when the industry became liberalised, and that's when the Telecommunications Act provided for a certain degree of self-regulation and co-regulation. And there shall be, the Act says basically, if there's an industry association facilitating that co-regulation, then that can happen. Now, we are that industry association. Most people do not really know what co-regulation or self-regulation is. So what we're doing is we are creating and maintaining a large variety of codes, standards, and guidelines by which our industry operates and engages with each other. One of the most common examples that I can just give for your understanding is how does it actually work that you are taking your phone number from Vodafone to Optus, that you can keep your phone number. That is subject to a code, and the industry works by that code, and it simply works beautifully. But there are many, many more examples. They are technical, operational, consumer-related, whatever you can think of. It is probably regulated by a code or standard that we create and maintain. We also have the responsibility for 2 or 3 other codes which are important in this context and were formerly maintained by the Internet Industry Association, and those are the iCode, the Content Services Code, and the Internet and Mobile Content Code, and I'll come to those later. Quickly on the membership, any of the large telecoms companies that you know, any of the small ones that you have never heard of, global ICT players, vendors like Ericsson, Huawei, all those, content providers, internet service providers, which are probably most relevant in this context, search engines, and so on and so on. Now, I quickly want to run you through the regulatory and legal regime under which we operate in the context of child exploitation, or in the widest, what might be relevant in this context, let's put it like that. And I'm not necessarily saying that all of it is. For illegal onshore content providers, and it's important to distinguish a content provider from what we would call a carriage provider or a carriage service provider. So a content provider, think your YouTube's, someone who hosts content and makes content available to the public. A carrier or a carriage service provider is a provider that provides the technical infrastructure of facilitating the communication, like a Telstra, Optus, Vodafone, IIN, etc. That's an internet service provider or a carrier, depending on whether they're also engaged in telephony. So a content provider is subject to a complaints scheme and takedown notices from the E-Safety Commissioner. So where the E-Safety Commissioner receives a complaint, determines that the content is illegal, then the E-Safety Commissioner can direct the content provider to take down that content. Having said that, again, in the carrier context, most carriers do not host their own content. So Telstra makes available on their website anything that the customer needs to know about Telstra, about the products, about the plans, but they do not host normal Telstra content. Then there is, of course, illegal offshore content, and that's where it gets more difficult, probably. Again, it's a complaint scheme, and the E-Safety Commissioner can determine that this content is also undesirable and illegal by our standards. That website would get added to a, let's call it a blacklist that the E-Safety Commissioner has, and that blacklist then gets referred to, amongst others, to family-friendly filter providers who add it to their list so that it can be filtered. In addition, of course, the Safety Commissioner does a lot of work with international organizations to facilitate a takedown overseas, but that's something for the Safety Commissioner, if they are, he doesn't really need to explain. Yeah, perfect. Hi. Correct me if I'm saying anything wrong here. I'm just trying to do the very basics. I talked about filters. So filters and family-friendly filters are voluntary end-user-based filters. The end-user bit is the important bit. So it's something that the customer has on their computer, or it could be cloud-based, but I think it could be cloud-based, but it's something that the customer uses, purchases, or gets as a freebie along with the service, and that filters for certain content, and usually the guardian parent or the user can set certain parameters as to what they want to filter. And family-friendly filters are filters that are certified in a specific and quite rigorous way that they filter out certain content, for example, the content that is on the blacklist that the E-Safety Commissioner provides. We broadly operate under Schedules 5 and 7 of the Broadcasting Services Act, because that forms the basis of the online content scheme. Now, the online content scheme consists of basically the Content Services Code and an Internet and Mobile Content Code. The name of the code already tells you something. It's an Internet and Mobile Content Code, and you kind of go, where's the difference? And that's exactly the problem. They were written as the BSA, as the Broadcasting Services Act, ages ago. They totally have not kept pace with the developments. Back then, there was a distinction between the internet and something mobile, and that distinction simply no longer exists. So both the Schedule 5 and 7, as well as the codes, would need urgent revision and overhaul to keep pace with the current environment, and therefore we would need to make them platform and technology neutral. We could work on the codes, but we cannot work on the BSA because that's federal legislation. So we are very hopeful that under a current review, we might actually see a change to a revision of Schedules 5 and 7 of the BSA so that we can meaningfully also revise our codes. Now, I do not want to sound offensive, but it's important kind of to note also what we can and cannot do under law as telecoms companies. So what we are doing is under Section 313 of the Telecommunications Act, carriers and carrier service providers are to give help as is reasonably necessary to for law enforcement purposes and the safeguarding of the national security, public revenues protection, etc. Now, and that help includes the blocking of websites, for example, of the Interpol worst off list. Importantly, what we cannot do under law, the Telecommunications Interception and Access Act prohibits that telecoms companies go and search for or intercept or access in any way, shape or form the content of a communication. They can only do so under warrant. I think David talked about metadata before. Australia does have a data retention scheme, quite extensive one since 2015. Data is being retained for 2 years. Access to that data is subject to quite stringent criteria, not under warrant, but telecoms companies can also not just go and plow through metadata and do something with that. And maybe just for completeness, I don't want to discuss it, it's currently before Parliament. It's the Assistance and Access Bill 2018. That's a bill that talks more about encryption and computer access warrants and these things. It's a bit controversial, and it certainly hasn't seen the end of the process, so that's why I just mentioned it here. A short word on website blocking. It's something that we do. We do it in different contexts, and I think my colleague Mike will talk about that in a second. But we need to be aware of certain limitations around it. First of all, it's reactive. Secondly, every probably 16-year-old reasonably tech-savvy can these days bypass it. There are a zillion of different ways of bypassing it. VPNs, SSH tunnels, specific custom-made software. It's not specifically difficult to bypass. It has certain risks of overblocking, so unless you really specifically target a website, you might block something that you don't want to block. That has happened some time back, I think, where a specific website ought to be blocked, and inadvertently I think the University of Melbourne went down. And it's quite difficult to find actually why until you discover that it was a requested block that actually caused it. The other issue with it is to implement a block effectively, and we do know that crime, of course, goes to the fringes and finds its way through like water, basically. There's a very large number of internet service providers in Australia, around 400, and you would need to implement any blocking, ideally with all 400. But really importantly, I think it's a bit of a problem. It's a whack-a-mole game, right? You block one website, it pops up in a different form, different IP addresses, different DNS, in a different place, and you try to basically play catch-up. As I said, there are things that can be done, and I want to emphasize that our industry is certainly willing to help. We do so with copyright, we do so with illegal offshore gambling, we do it already with where we can in the context of child exploitation, but we're also here to listen as to what ideas are in the room and what research might also assist us from telecom's perspective to better tackle these issues. Thanks so much.